This is a brief tutorial on how to create and manage class notebooks in Teams. Class notebooks are essentially digital exercise books. So they allow you to work in a virtual environment in very much the same way that you would do at school. So your pupil will have a digital version of a physical textbook where they can keep all of their notes, where it can be well organized, and where you can distribute handouts directly to the correct section of their exercise book. They're very quick and easy to mark, and they'll lead to much better outcomes for pupils and a much easier life for you. So I'm going to show you how to set them up. I already have them for virtually all of my classes, so we'll start by having a look at how they've been set up for a third form English class. Okay, so we're in Teams and we've gone to Class Notebook. It's one of the tabs along the top. This is what a setup one looks like. This is effectively the landing page. Your key function is this little arrow here. As soon as you tap that, you've got access to all the different functions of class notebooks. Okay, the most important thing for you as a teacher is the content library. So think of this as your virtual desk. Because this class has 2 teachers, I've separated the content library into 2 sections, mine and James's. How did I do that? You just right-click and you add a new section. So you can add multiple sections to your content library. It's basically like having different trays on your desk. You can change the colour of them and you can change the names of them. Okay, so here's my one. Okay, so this is my desk and I want to make different handouts within it. Again, I just right-click and I start adding pages. So here would be the handout for my first lesson, here would be my second one, etc. So if we imagine I've created some content here. So I've written some questions and I want the pupils to answer them. They're going to be answering them directly on this handout page. So they don't have to save it anywhere special or upload it or do anything fancy with it. They're going to be answering your questions on your handout page. How do we achieve that? Okay, so you go to Class Notebook. And we're going to distribute this page to the class. Okay, so this is how the class notebooks are set up for this class. They've got my classwork in one section, my prep in another section. They've got James's classwork and James's prep. So this lesson that I've just made with my various questions is part of my classwork. So I'm going to click on that and click distribute. And what will happen is my handout, effectively my digital handout, will get sent to all of their exercise books. So where are their exercise books? Here they are. Okay, so here is Robert and he has all of his 4 different sections, and that handout that I just sent is going to magically appear under AT classwork. So he answers my questions there. So if we imagine that all of the pupils in this class have answered the various questions from AT's lesson 1, and I want to make sure that they've done it, and I want to be able to feedback on it. So what do? Well, within Class Notebook, I just click on Review Student Work, and I'm reviewing that classwork task that we just did. Click Next. And it will come up with all the different pages. Obviously there aren't any at the moment, but it would come up with all the different pages that exist, and I just click on that one that would be called Lesson 1, and it will take me into just that page for all of the exercise books. And I can interact with that, and I can put feedback, and I can put some manual marks in there if I want to. So the benefit of this is it keeps all of the students' work really well organised into the different sections, and it allows you to review their work quickly and efficiently to make sure that they've all done it. Okay, let's go through the process of how did I end up with all of this. So I'm going to choose a class for whom I have not yet made class notebooks. So this is my upper 6. Okay, so click on Class Notebook at the top, and it will say you are now setting up class notebooks, and you're going to do blank notebooks. Okay, this is just some information on what they are. Click Next. Okay, Teams automatically gives you exercise books that are set up with these 4 sections. That probably doesn't suit what you want, so you can just change that. So in this upper 6th class, for example, we might be doing some work on poetry, we might be doing some work on prose, we might be doing some drama, and it may well be that I want them to keep their prep in a separate section, or maybe you don't, whatever you like, and you can add as many sections as you wish. But that's how all of their exercise books are going to be set up. If you change your mind, there is a way to change that later. So we're going to click Create, and then Teams will now start generating digital exercise books for everybody in your class. It just takes a couple of minutes. And there they are. Okay, so this is my landing page. So the landing page just has a lot of blah on it. So one of the first things that I'm going to want to do is get rid of all of the blah. And rather than Welcome to Class Notebook, I'm going to call this Upper 6A Digital Exercise Books. And you can put a nice picture in here if you want, or anything else. Okay, so that's your landing page. It doesn't really do anything, it just looks pretty. The most important thing for you is this, the content library. Okay, so at the moment it's just called Using the Content Library. And again, it's just a load of blah. So this is the first thing that you're going to want to start to get rid of. I'm going to right click on that and we're going to rename this. So this is going to be where I'm going to create all of my poetry handouts. I also want some more handouts because if you remember, there's Jacob's exercise book, we set it up like this. So it's got 4 different sections. So I'd like my desk or my content library to mimic his exercise book. So I'm going to start making some new sections. I'm going to make one called prose. And I'm going to make another one called drama. And another one called prep. Okay. So this is just blah, so we get rid of the blah. And this is our first page. So if I call this lesson 1, and this is going to be some work that we're going to be doing on Tennyson. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a Tennyson lesson in my poetry section. You can drop different things into your handout here. You can insert files that you've already made, pictures, you can write any questions that you want. You can create a nice handout. And then remember, once that's all made, you need to distribute it to your pupils, and we want to distribute it to the right section. So just to go through how we did that again, we go to distribute page. There are lots of options under distribute page. You can send things to individuals or groups within your class. You can send things across different notebooks if you teach multiple, for example, multiple third forms. If you have 3 different third form classes and you want them all to have that handout, you can send it across to all of them. But most of us are probably going to be just using this one up here, which is distribute the page to everybody in this particular class. So we click on distribute page. We know that we want this to go into the poetry section of their digital exercise books, and then we distribute it. You can see it's now sending it to the right section of everybody's digital exercise book. Okay, so that just takes a little while. And then if you go into any of your students' digital exercise books, you'll be able to see that it has appeared. So what are the benefits of this? This means that students can stop struggling with their physical exercise books now, stop trying to stick in things and get them in the right place. And that's a bit of a chore, and it's quite difficult for a lot of students. You've also got no way of really checking that they've done that. So you don't know who's becoming disorganized or who's missing out on bits of work. It also makes it much, much quicker for you to be able to interact with their work, make sure that they've learned things and they can do things by clicking on this Review Student Work tab here. So have a go at using Class Notebook with your classes, and hopefully you'll find that it leads to really good outcomes for you and your pupils.